So hi developers, I am Stone. In my last video, I have given an introduction to NumPy arrays and how you can create NumPy arrays with different methods and in different ways. And I have also given the methods that are that are provided by ND array class for array processing, further array processing. And in today's video, we will learn about some basic function and some universal function that are present in NumPy. Okay, yeah, but in first I will talk about basic functions. In basic functions we will discuss about some arithmetic operations. Okay, so whenever we will use one arithmetic operation on the array, so it will be applied to each of the element present in the array, and the resultant array will be having the new values, and it will create and it will return a new array also. So let's directly dig into the code. uh, so if you are following my videos, you must be knowing this notebook that I have used yesterday in my last videos. So we will continue in this notebook. Okay, so first we will discuss about some basic function. For basic function, so let's create some array for 2 years so that we can apply the arithmetic operation on that. Okay, so let's create some array. np.array. So if you see, I have created two array. One is ones, one is with doubles. uh, Both the data type I will specify it here as int, d type equal to int. You can do like this also, np.int 32. Okay, here d type equal to np.int 32. Okay, great. So we have specified the data type also. So let's apply some mathematical operation on it. Okay, do some mathematical operation on both the two arrays. So our result array will be like, so now if I want to add ones plus doubles, and if I print the result, you can see here it is printing. Actually it is adding all the element that are present in the both the thing, and the same thing I can do uh, result. Okay, so it is also doing the minus operation also. We can pretty much can do the minus operation also. So let's do a square root. If I do square root of 1, so let's see, ones into 2. So as you can see, it is doing the square root also. 1, 2, 2 square root 4, and 3 is 9, and 4 is 16. Okay, that also we can do. So and you can do boolean operation also. Suppose I want to check some values that are that should be less or greater than some value. Suppose I want to check the specified this array should be less than 10 or not. So what I can do, I can do like this also, ones less than 10. Okay, so it is giving me 10, true, 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 true. So as all the elements are less than 10, you can use also greater than like that. Sorry. So as you can see, it is returning the false also. So this is 1D array. So let's create some two-dimensional array, and let's try some operation on that. So let's create some two-dimensional array, and we will do some operation on two-dimensional array also. So first 2D equal to np dot ones 2s3. I will do it like this, and the type equal to int, and I will create a second 2D array that will be a random generated number. So as you can see, if I will go to the d type dot name, it is float. As you can see, because these are randomly generated number. So we will use some arithmetic operation on this. So what we will do, instead of returning a new array, what we will do, we will modify the same array. Okay, so for that you can use like uh, first 2D, sorry, plus equal to second, and we will print the first one. Okay, so here is the one catch that I want to show you. So first of all, one is int, another one is float. That we can do because this is, you can see here the float and int with the casting means it is upcasting, some downcasting, something like that. So that you can do, but what we can do, we can use that second one plus equal to first one. Okay, and here you can see it is coming actually fine because that int can be converted to float, but float cannot be converted to int. So there is a type inference. So that was we are facing previously, the error we are getting, that is because due to that type inference error. Okay, so this plus equal to, and we can use similarly into also, sorry, this is not the sign. So here you can use into also and minus also, anything you can use. So these are basically used to modify the existing array without creating the new one. So you can use these operators if you want to modify the existing one without expecting a new array. So whenever you are operating with arrays of different types, the type of the resulting array correspond to the more general or precise one. So this behavior is known as upcasting. The error that we faced previously, that was due to the type inference error, that I want to show you guys. That's the reason I knowingly created the situation. Okay, so after that, after the basic, these are the basic operation. Then we will use some unary operation, that is also the part of the basic operation. Many unary operations such as computing the sum of all the elements in the array, finding the minimum elements, elements in the array, find the maximum elements in the array. These are the methods are actually implemented in the nd array class. Okay, so since we have created the, so let's use this array. We will print this array. Okay, okay, so we will use this, we will create, so let's create a new array so that we can use that array for the finding the minimum, maximum and the sum of the element. We will use the one that, so let's convert this np.array. So as you can see, I have created a two-dimensional array. You can see the values. So now I want to find the mean and the max element, and and getting the sum of the element also. So directly, so what I can do, so we can use directly sum. Sorry. So it is giving me a return of the total elements, adding, it is adding internally all the elements and giving the result. I can use mean 2, as 2 is the minimum element. I can use max as 45 is the maximum element. So you can use cumulative sum also, that is for that cumulative sum. Yeah, perfect. Okay, so here you can getting the cumulative sum also. 2, 2 plus 3 5, and 5 plus 4 9, and 9 plus 5 is 14. Then 14 plus 6 is 20, 20 plus 18 is 38, 30, then again like this it will come. Okay, this is cumulative sum. So now we will move into universal function. So these are all the basic functions that NumPy provided, we have discussed. So we will move to the NumPy universal function. So NumPy provides familiar mathematical functions also, such as sine, cos, exponent, exp. So in NumPy these are called universal functions. Okay, within NumPy these functions operate element wise on array, producing an array output. Like the basic operation, whenever you will apply the universal function also, it will apply to all the elements and it will return another array, and it will return a new array. So let's create, just we will use this our own array only for finding all the universal and so using the sign cos and all those. So what we'll do, we can use so one of the universal function is exp np np.exp. Sorry. Okay, so it is calculating the exponent of the all the elements, and it is printing that. And you can use np dot square root also, np dot sqr square root. So it is printing the square root also of all the elements. As you can see, 4 it is printing 2, and value will be absolutely float only. So if you want then you can use the d type dot name float 64. If you want to print all those elements again, you can do that also. We can use there is some mathematical operation I will show you, that it provides add function also. You can pass argument, you can pass two argument as the two array. I will do, we have another one, we have already have another one, second and third. So what we will do, np dot add, sorry, np dot add. Okay, so this error is coming because the shapes are different. So let's create another shape. So if we see np, so let's see the what is the shape of the second array. Dot shape. So 2 3 and there, so we will create another array. So now as you can see, we have two array with the actual shape. So that you should keep in mind that whenever you are using that add function, it should both the arrays should have the same shape. Okay, so now we can use np dot add. So now I can see it is giving the actual result. So because it the both the arrays are having the same shape. And we have other functions like numpy dot all, that also I will show you. So basically numpy dot all, it will test whether all array elements along a given axis evaluate true to true or not. So all the elements should be evaluating true. Okay, so if I use my 2D array dot np dot all, so as you can see it is giving true. Okay, so if any of this value will be 0, it should be given for it should give for it should give false. Okay, uh, like this all, we have any also, np dot any, that will also return true, because if any of the element is true, it will return true. Okay, but np dot all, if one false value will be there, so it will not treat it the whole array will the resultant will be false only, because it will be dealing with the all the elements here. Np just like and just like or, so it's just like that only. In any, you can have either any, if one element is true, so it will print the true only. Okay, and after that np dot all, np dot any. So there is two function that I want to focus on, these two function, that is very critical one, means you should need to understand, because these are little tricky. Okay, so one function is numpy dot argmax, numpy dot argmin. So as you can see, both the parameters a is there, means it will be taking an array as a parameter axis. So axis means axis should be 0 or 1. 0 means that column wise, and 1 means the row wise. It will be like this. And so if we see the definition, it returns the numpy dot argmax returns the indices of the maximum value along an axis. If the axis is not specified, then multi-dimensional array will be flattened to single dimensional. Similarly, that numpy.argmin, it will return the minimum element of the array in a particular axis. Okay, so here also, if the axis is not specified, multi-dimensional array will be flattened to 1D. So I have a very good the document that I have created for you guys. You can you will be have a clear idea for this numpy.argmax and numpy.argmin. So whenever there is an axis 0 in multidimensional array, axis 0 means that the operation is performed down the column of a 2D array. Remember, so whenever the axis 0, we will be performing the down the columns. Okay, the operation will be performed down the columns. And whenever the axis is 1, that means the operation is performed down the rows. Okay, so 0 means it will be performing operation on the column, 1 means it will be performing operation on the row wise. Okay, so let's suppose I have a array, multi-dimensional array, and you can see here the values I have created. I will show you this value. We'll code this, but you first visualize this. Okay, so this is a multi-dimensional array. So here, if axis is not specified as per the definition I have told, the documentation definition I have told you, the whole multi-dimensional array will be flattened to the single dimensional. So here you can see the here, if I don't specify the axis, it will convert into single dimensional array. Okay, and if I use np.argmax, so which is the maximum element. Okay, so here is the maximum element is 109. So what is the indices of the 109? That means 5. It will print the 5. Similarly, if I print the np.argmin without any axis, then what is the minimum element? The minimum element here is uh, the minimum element here is 1. Okay, so it will be printing the indices of 1 means 3. Now let's come to, if we are giving an axis, so what will happen for that? Okay, so whenever we have an axis 0, means axis 0 means column wise. Okay, so this column wise 94, 56, 55. If I do a argmax, if I do a argmax, 103 is the maximum in this column. So what is the indices of 103? Means always the indices starts from 0. Okay, so 0, 1, 2. So as you can see, you will get, I will tell you why you are getting the 4 result, because since you have mentioned axis 0 and there are 4 columns, so the resultant value will be 4. Okay, four different values you will be getting. So here, if I specify axis 0, here 103 is the max and the indices is 2. You can see the 2 here. And now let's come to the array. This column here maximum is 100. So the indices of 100 is 1, that you can see here. And in the third column, the maximum element is 110 and the index is 2. Okay, and in the fourth column, the maximum element is 204 and you can see 0. Okay, that is np.argmax, and if you are providing axis equal to 0. Similarly, I told you, since you have 4 columns, you will be having the 4 values. How many columns you will be having, that many result you will be getting. Means it will become in a one dimensional array. So that element, the 4, that means 4 element will present in that one dimensional resultant array. Okay, so if I use np.argmin, okay, and axis 0, okay, axis 0 means, so first in this axis 0 means 56 will operate through column wise. Okay, and in this column 56 is the minimum, so 1 is the index. So here again in the second column 2 is the minimum, so 0, 1, 2. So 2 is coming here. In third row 75 is the minimum. Okay, so 1, 0 will be there. And in the fourth row 98 is the minimum, so 1 will be the value. Let's come to another multi-dimensional array. Here we will understand the argmax and the argmin with axis 1. Okay, 1 means we will be doing row wise. Okay, 0 means column wise. So if I do a np.argmax and I pass this array and I mention axis equal to 1, so in this particular row I will be getting 3 result because I have 3 rows. Okay, so in this particular rows 341 is the maximum, so 3 is the respective index. So in the second row 108 is the maximum, so 2 is the respective index of 108. And in the third row 104 is the maximum element and 1 is the respective index. Similarly, if I do a np.argmin and I pass axis equal to 1, so what will be the minimum element? So in this first row 75 is the minimum element, so that means 0 and 1, 0 1, 1 is the respective index, so you will be getting 1. And in the second row 2 is the minimum element, so 0 1 2 3, so you will be getting 3. Okay, so in the third row 1 is the minimum element, so 0 1 2, 2 is the index of respective 2 is the index of 1. Okay, so that this is all about arg mean and arg max. So let's code this and understand. Okay, arg mean, we will create a two array for better understanding. Np dot array. So we have created the two arrays. uh, we will now operate the arg mean and arg max on the on these both two arrays. Okay, so if I directly use first, I will not specify the axis. So let's see np dot arg max. So as you can see, I told you if I flatten it, sorry, if I flatten it, as you can see 5 is the resultant, means because 109 is present in the fifth index, that's why we are getting 5. Similarly, so now you will use the arg main np dot arg mean, same we will pass arg mean 3. So as I told you, 3 is the arg minimum because 1 is present in the third index. So now we will use axis for that. So np dot arg max, I'll be using arg max array, and I will specify axis equal to 0. Let's see, 2120. As you can see, our value is our result is also 2120. I have described how it became 2120. Okay, so 1201, 1201 is our resultant for the axis 0 and argument minimum. Okay, now I will use the axis 1. Okay, so np dot arg max, we will copy this directly. So now we will use this array. Now we will use this array for the axis 1. So I have used np dot arg max and axis 1, and if I use this, you can see it is giving me an array of elements 3 to 1. As you can see, 3 to 1 is also our resultant. So let's use that arg mean with axis 1. Okay, arg mean, that is 132. Okay, 132. So it is totally same as our result. So this is the main difference between the arg max and the arg mean. I want to show you, I want to describe these two functions very broadly. That's the reason I have prepared this, that document I have visualized clearly, so that you can understand what is the difference of arg mean. Because whenever I was reading this those function, I find it little difficult to understand from the documentation what is arg mean and what is arg max. Then I researched something, then I understood clearly. Okay, so that's the reason I have prepared the document. So this is all about today's videos. I have covered some of the universal function here, uh, but there are other functions also we'll be covering in our next videos. So I am ending the videos here. So I hope you guys like this video, and please like, subscribe and comment. Thank you.